Listen up, grown-ups. Now that you have switched to natural gas, here are some important things to know. There are a lot of stinky odors around the house, but if you ever smell the odor of natural gas in the air, which is similar to rotten eggs, leave immediately and simply call 911 or your local natural gas provider. If mom or dad need to dig outside, be sure to call 811 before you dig. Grown-ups, take this responsibility seriously. We depend on you to keep us safe.
Welcome everyone to a special show, and indeed it is special. We have Early Clover with us here in the studio. Welcome, Early.
Thank you, Ron. Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to see you as always.
Absolutely.
Every May you get to come to Dublin. You plan it, you come back and see us here, and so to speak, your hometown, your roots.
Absolutely.
And people turn out to see and enjoy it, and what energy you bring to the stage. Now, first of all, I want to know what you've been up to lately.
Well, I've been traveling around the country since our show closed down at the Riviera. Just moving around, doing what I do best.
You do it too. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never been to one of the shows Early Clover puts on, this year the Cornell Gunter Coasters are going to be here.
Yes.
And what a performance we anticipate this year.
Oh, yeah, the guys are very excited to be coming back to Dublin because, I believe we were here like about 6 years ago, and they are excited to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys get to perform together quite a bit.
Yes, we do.
All right, so where are you coming from right now, your most recent performance?
New York City. Did a show in New York about a week and a half ago. Well, about a week and a half ago, yeah. Mm-hmm. About a week and a half ago.
And you bring so much energy. You sing things that we remember from yesterday. You may throw in something that's a little more popular. Then you just, it's like a walk down memory lane, and there's so much energy.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to do all of the favorites. All of the songs that people remember back from the 50s of the Coasters. Take out the papers and the trash. Fee, fee, fi, fi, fo, fo, fum. I smell smoke in the auditorium, Charlie Brown.
You got it.
Yeah. But we have a special little twist that we put on that. I'm not going to give it away, but,
right.
We make that one very special. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're so much looking forward to it now. Each and every year, you come back to see us, you bring different genres, so to speak. You bring different groups in, you bring different avenues. Let's talk about some of the shows you've done in the past here in Dublin.
Well, I try to keep the momentum and the memories of the music current to the people and available, like bringing the Cornell Gunter Coasters back, bringing back all the original music of the original Coasters. Well, when I came last year, I bought my solo show away from the Cornell Gunter Coasters, Early Clover's Tribute to Legends in Motown. That show features all of the favorites of from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and some 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what energy, again, you bring. Ladies and gentlemen, what I love about it so very much is the fact that there's such a diverse crowd that comes.
Exactly.
Everyone seems to be enjoying the songs that are being sung, the performance that's being done, the interaction with the crowd.
Yeah.
People dancing in the aisles, tapping their feet and humming along, and you'll see couples lean over and love on one another because it's bringing back memories.
Yeah. Mr. Grizzard came to see my show last year. The year before that, I gave away plaques, and I presented him with a plaque, but he couldn't make it. He was ill then, but he came last year, and he said, "Early, I can't see you, but you sure do sound good."
And what a compliment! Now,
I'm serious.
Back up and tell the story about Mr. Grizzard.
Yeah, Mr. Grizzard, I'll always be grateful to him. He basically helped give me my very first start. I was 17 years old, and I walked into his music store. I needed some equipment because Mr. Lee Miller was going to give me a job working in his club. but I didn't have the proper PA system, because when that club gets crowded, the little stuff that we had, you couldn't hardly hear us singing. So he said,
All right, now you were with the group, you were with the guys, and you told them what you were going to do, and they said, "Oh,
They said, "You crazy."
That's right.
They said, "That man, you ain't got no job, man." I said, "Well, nothing beats a failure but a try."
Right.
I mean, nothing beats a try but a failure.
Yeah.
I said, "So I'm gonna try." I said, maybe he may. You never know. So me and one of the members, the rest of them said, "Well, I'm not going. I'm not gonna go down there and get embarrassed, like that." I said, "Well, I'm going." So I walked in there, and the guy Pete was working with him, and I walks up to the counter, and I said, "Pete, we need a PA system." I said, "Mr. Lee Miller said he's going to give us a job." I said, he said he would guarantee us $400 per night on the weekend if we had a proper PA system. Pete said, "Well, we got something." So he showed me the PA system, and he said, "It's $1,800. I said, "Well, Pete, I don't have the money." He said, "Well, you have to come back when you get it." So Mr. Grizzard heard him. He walks out and he says, "Pete, don't we have some used stuff back here that just came in?" And he said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "Young man, if I trust you with this equipment, when and how are you going to pay me?" He said, "Do you have a job?" I said, "No, sir." I said, "But I will have that job when Mr. Lee Miller give it to me if I get this equipment." He said, "Well, I'll tell you what. I want to let you have this equipment." He said, "It's used, but it looks like new." He said, "Now, if you don't come back and pay me, I'm sending the police after you." I said, "Well, Mr. Grizzard, if you trust me, you will not have to send the police after me." I said, "First thing Monday morning, I will be back down here to bring you the money." He said, "I'll let you have it for $850. And it was a nice PV system, man, four speaker columns. I said, "I'll be back to pay you." He said, "No, you don't have to do that." He said, "You just come back and pay me half." He said, "I want you to pay me in increments. I want to help you build your credit. So when you come in here next time, you don't have to get into it with Pete again." Man, Monday morning, I was there bright and early.
Smiling.
That's right. I even took off school because I was graduating the next year. I took off school. I was, "Man, I'm going to pay this man." Yes, it's more important. And I went and I paid him. He said, "Well, you're a man of your words. I'll see you next week." And that's how I basically, if I hadn't gotten that equipment, we would have been out of a job. We wouldn't have gotten that job. Another band would have gotten it, and we would have been, I don't know. That was my first start.
Right.
That opportunity, and he helped me obtain
you
that.
presented yourself well, and he was willing to help.
Exactly.
I love the story because that's what we should do in life, Early. You know it.
You got to help people. That's right.
You should approach other people as if they're going to help you.
Exactly. I mean, Pete was number one, Pete was not in a position to say yes or no.
Right.
So he was doing his job, but because like he was saying, "Well, you don't have no job.
Right.
How are you going to pay for this stuff? If I let you have this man's stuff, then I'm putting myself on the line,
Yeah.
But Mr. Grizzard, having a good heart, he heard the conversation and he said, "I'm going to give the young man a chance."
When you recognized him at the plate and what have you, in 13, and 14, he came to see you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But how wonderful, Early.
It is.
You're back again. You get to perform for us here locally. And we want to encourage everyone to come out. It's going to be at 7:30.
Yes.
It's $27 at the door, but that'll be well worth your money. It'll be good money spent. Bring your date. Bring your wife. That's going to be one and the same for some of you.
And I want to say something else, too. I can't speak on that without speaking on this. My auntie, Annie Pinkston, we call her Aunt Nan.
Yes.
Between her and Lee Miller, they were the ones who gave me the first opportunity to perform live before an audience after I got this equipment from Mr. Grizzard.
Yeah.
So that was my start.
And one thing about Early, ladies and gentlemen, Early never forgets where he came from.
That's right.
He's still as humble as he's ever been.
That's right.
But what a performer.
Thank you, Ron.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a wonderful job he does on stage. He's bringing the Cornell Gunter coasters.
Yes.
To be performing tomorrow night Again, it's at 7:30 at the theater. You've seen these all over town.
Yes.
And have Ronnie Mullen's going to open up for you.
Absolutely.
Warm up the crowd a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you'll take the stage, I'm assuming, right around 8.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what a show. You get your money's worth, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
When I go and see Early perform, he performs, he got all that energy, and then he comes back, he's still got that energy, and he's gonna give you money's worth.
Well, I love Dublin. You know, this is my hometown.
All over, though.
Yeah, well, you know, when I come home though, that brings a little more special energy and finesse, you know, because I'm home. You know, there's no place like home. You can go anywhere on the planet. There are lots of places I love. I mean, it's like Maui and Hawaii. I really love that place. New York City, Chicago, Miami, Florida. But no place like home. No place like Dublin.
Y'all turn out and show the love to Early Saturday night. Now, you were telling us a story earlier that that Connell Gunter and the Coasters were inducted into the Hall of Fame.
They were the first group to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987, January of 1987.
That's
Very
impressive.
first. Yes.
You got a legacy here, ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Strong legacy.
Yes.
And you're going to get to enjoy some great music.
Yes.
Now, tell us some stories about Connell Gunter and the fact that you had no idea you were related to it for a period of time, and then
exactly. Yeah, I learned in 1991 that I was related to Cornell. I joined the Coasters in 1989, Billy Guy, Bobby Nunn Coasters in 1989, and I sang also with Billy Guy Coasters. Well, in 1991, we were doing a show in California, and I met this guy named Ed Townsend. And Ed was talking about Cornell's roots and where he was from. And he said he's from this town in Georgia called Buckeye. Where is Buckeye? You know, I said, well, that's a rural area in Lawrence County, Dublin, Georgia. I said, that's basically where I'm from. So he said, who are your people? So I started telling him. He said, well, maybe y'all are related. He said, you should talk to Shirley. He said, Cornell got killed last year. He said, I said, what? He said, yeah. He said, maybe you should talk to Shirley and see. So he gave me her number. I went and talked to Shirley. We started talking about families from Georgia and Buckeye and Tuckers and Norrises and Clovers and Wrights. And she said, well, yeah, we cousin, the third, fourth generation relation. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow. And she started showing me, because Shirley had a hit too called Oopsie Oops. Yeah. And she started showing me all this stuff about Cornell's roots, and she told me the story about some of the reasons why the Coasters broke up. And she said Cornell was one of the reasons. I said, well, what did he do? She said, honey, she said one night at the Sahara, they told them that they needed to change their show. They needed a different show. She said, and the next week, Cornell came on the stage in a dress, and high heel shoes and a purse. She said, and he walks out there and said, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cornell Gunter. And the people went crazy. Yeah. And she said from then on, the rest of the guys weren't too thrilled with him dressing like that.
Hold on, man.
Yeah, but the audience loved it. You know, it was just an act. You know, like Flip Wilson.
Sure.
You know, it was just an act, but the guys just didn't like it. And so that was the birth of Cornell Gunter Coasters. You know. Yeah. He kept that act, and it took him all over the world.
And what great hits he had.
Oh, man. And then he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right along with those guys in '87. So he was a coaster, so you know, he brought a lot to the table.
Sure.
Yeah.
A tremendous amount.
Yeah, and they all started their group, Billy Guy, Bobby Nunn, and Carl Gardner.
So you find a lot of talent throughout your family, huh?
Yeah, I was also related to Tony Williams of the Platters. Yeah.
Man. So you put all those voices together.
Yeah.
What talent.
I thank God for it. I
Amen.
think that
Amen.
I'm blessed with the talent. I thank God that I'm blessed with a lot of the people that He has been put in my life, you know, because it helped shape whom I am today, you know. And there are a lot of people that I have to thank along the way. People like George Pippen, you know.
George always loved to see you coming back.
Man, let me tell you, he was one of my biggest fans.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, Gil Gillis,
Yeah.
you know, to name a few, Griffin Lovett, you know, DuBois Porter, you know, people that really helped me along the way.
Sure, encourage and shape you in a way.
Yes, it does. And you
All
can't
right,
forget
so,
those.
So here you are, you know, you're going around the world, you're playing in different places, different states, and you come across young people. What do you try to feed into them early? What do you try to tell them?
Well, first of all, don't believe the hype. You know, I mean, I was where a lot of the young people are today, growing up, adolescence, you know, into adulthood. You know, you are challenged with a lot of temptation, a lot of things that are trendy, you know, a lot of fads and all that. But I would say to them, you know, be yourself. Don't try to live your life based on what someone else think you ought to be or ought to do. Find your own identity and learn to be whom you are, because in the end, that's what you're going to be anyway. No matter what you may try to live to be or try to present yourself to be, the result is going to be you.
Right.
And how you shape that, it's going to be totally left up to you, because it's just like a can. Once you drink all the soda out of it, if you take that can and you crumble it up, you might be able to straighten it back out, but you will never get all the rinks out of it.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. If you take the wrong route and trying to do something to please someone else or to live your life a certain way based on what someone else thinks or how they feel, you're shaping something that's not you and something that you can't live up to. And sometimes it can take you down a wrong road that you never recover from. Sometimes it takes you down a road that you can recover from, but you're so damaged, you know, until it really puts your life in a shamble. But if you find your own identity and just be who you are, if Joe Blow don't like it, hey, that's Joe Blow's problem.
That's right.
It ain't your problem. You are you. God made you who you are, not who you are to suit Joe Blow.
That's
So,
right.
yeah.
Good advice.
Thank you.
Yeah, good advice. So if you had to pick, let's say 1 or 2 songs, and that's all you could sing.
I don't understand your question.
If you had to choose one song to sing, you had one performance, you could sing to the whole world. You could choose one song. You can sing to the whole world.
I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride. Make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how it used to be.
Amen. That's a good one. That's awesome. Good advice. Ladies and gentlemen, 7:30, the doors will open a little bit earlier.
Yes.
So you be there about 7:30 and enjoy Ronnie Mullis to warm it up. About 8 o'clock, Connell Gunter coasters will be taking the stage, and $27 will get you in. That's $27 per ticket. Bring all your friends and neighbors. Call people from around the area who may not know Early Clover's back in town.
Yes, and for those of you who may not know, that song was written by Dolly Parton.
That song was?
That song was written by Dolly Parton.
Everybody remembers sings it.
Yes, it's called The Greatest Love. It was also recorded and sang by Whitney Houston.
Right.
Most folks thought Whitney wrote it.
Well, most folks knew Whitney sang it.
Yeah.
I don't know who wrote it.
Yeah,
but,
Dolly Parton.
but yeah, that's who sang it.
She wrote it and sang it, and Whitney re-recorded it.
How about that?
Yes.
She's got a lot of talent too.
Yes, she great talent.
Music is such a part of our lives. ladies
Yes,
and
I met her once. She's a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to relive some of those memories, then you be at the theater this Saturday night.
That's right.
Enjoy it.
We're going to take you back down memory lane, then we're going to bring you back to today. All right? See you all there.
Thank you. Thank you, Earl.
Thank you, Ron. My pleasure.